No, we did not understand the assignment here. Hi, welcome back to PC Builder. I'm Jason. This is Boost My Build, the series where we take your PC build lists, we tear them up, we put them back together, and massively increase your performance. And we've got two crazy builds for this episode. First, we've got a $1,200 total setup, monitor included, gaming PC, but they're stuck at 1080p 60 Hz. Can we bring them into 1440p? And we've got a $1,500 creator PC for video editing and graphic effects, but it needs some serious help. Can we bring it back up to a professional level? Remember, if you get value out of this video, give it a like. This makes a huge difference to the channel. And of course, subscribe, click that bell icon. That way you get notified when we release cool content. With that, let's jump into it. This video is sponsored by Micro Center, my favorite tech place on earth. Great news! Micro Center just opened its 26th US store, with Charlotte, North Carolina coming in early 2024. This month, new in-store customers take $25 off CPUs, like this Ryzen 7600 for $209, which drops to just $184 with the promo. Or check out their build your own bundles this month, like this Ryzen 7700 with MSI B650 motherboard and 32 gigabytes of fast DDR5 for just $399. Or check out their top deals like this AOC 165Hz 1080p gaming monitor for just $149. Check out the great deals using the link in the video description. We've got Ben XS. Ben says, hi Jason, this is going to be their very first PC build. They're looking for medium FPS gaming for Minecraft, CSGO, Starfield, hopefully. Well, let's get to more than medium FPS here. My budget is $1,200 USD, but it also includes a monitor, a mouse, and a keyboard. Okay, we've got a whole setup here for $1,200. Let's see what you got. Very aggressively mediocre. Very aggressively mediocre. That's the word I'm going to use. In fact, too aggressively mediocre in some areas. Let's quickly go through what I'm talking about. You finished at $1,181. And on the one hand, hey, good job. You're under $1,200. Technically, if you put this together, be fine. Fine levels of performance, but I have some big problems. I have some really big problems with our gaming experience because I think we're going to have a really terrible gaming experience, despite the fact that the setup and the PC seems okay. But first, let's start off with this monitor. I got to get this out of the way. You went with this like really crummy Asus VP228HE. It's a 21.5 inch, little tiny 22 inch monitor. It's 1080p 60 Hertz for $108. This is what I see way too often is people building pretty good gaming PCs and then they're getting these terrible monitors. Like, what good is all the frames and stuff coming out of that PC, coming out of your tower that you built, if the monitor, which is supposed to display the amazing goodness of all that gaming, is a crummy 60 Hertz awful 1080p monitor? This is why we do like a best gaming monitor video to help people buy stuff like this. We are not going to go with this monitor. We can do way better. I want to talk about the GPU choice, of course, because I don't mind the RTX 3060 12 gig. This is a pretty good card, but you're buying it right now. It looks like this one's $300. Yeah, I don't like there are cheaper ones. You can get them as low as like $270, $280 for a 2-fan model. If we're going to spend more and more money on the GPU, I would like to see us get more performance out of it as well. The problem with the RTX 3060, even the 12 gigabyte version, while it's great, it's got 12 gigs, that's 2 thumbs up there, is that it's even slower than the RX 6650 XT. Now, the 6650 XT, only 8 gigs of VRAM, so I would prefer the 3060 over it. But, you know, it's just very slow for its performance level and frankly, for the price. The CPU, you went with the Ryzen 5600, perfectly acceptable. Unfortunately, the CPU has just come up in price in the last week or two since we did our CPU market update. It's up to $145. I did check the i5-12400. It's about the same price. So Ryzen, I think, is still the superior choice. But, I don't like your motherboard. This is an MSI, supposedly B550 Gen 3. You're like, what is that? Gaming Gen 3. I don't like the MSI did this. I'm going to be really honest with you guys. So this is essentially, these are older B450 motherboards. Many of you might recognize this as the same setup that the B450 Tomahawk, and I think it was the B450 Gaming, whatever, they're just basically different skins of the same board. There were 3 of them. The other one was the B450 Pro that MSI had. This is it. And this is only PCIe Gen 3. That's what the Gen 3 means. It's not PCIe Gen 4, and it's supposed to be a B550 motherboard. I don't like that at all. You think you're getting like PCIe Gen 4 because you're getting B550, but in fact you are not. And this board, it's not cheap. It's $120. doesn't have upgraded audio or other features on it. This board should be avoided. For the RAM, love the RAM, 2x8GB DDR4 3600 CL16. RAM is so cheap, $43 or $44 if you add the penny. That's insane. These kits used to go for 120 plus. Just a couple of years ago, to see it now at $43, it's just crazy. For the drive, yeah, the Samsung 970 EVO Plus 1TB has settled down to a new price around $50. If you want to spend a little bit of extra money, get a super performative drive, if you're going to do maybe some video editing or you're going to be moving lots of files around, this is a good drive to get, $49. There's some slightly cheaper ones, but I like this choice. I have problems with the Corsair 4000D, mostly because it's too expensive for what it is. I think it looks nice. I think you can make good build in this. The problem is it only comes with 2 included fans for like $90, for $90. All of its competitors in the same price range come with ARGB fans, multiple ARGB fans, oftentimes enough for the entire build, and they're usually cheaper too. This case is just overpriced right now in the market. I think we could do a little bit better. Power supply, don't have a problem with the power supply, except the $100 for 650 watt unit, not great. This is an A-tier rated unit. You're like, Jason, why is it so expensive? Because they're phasing this one out. This is the old MSI A650GF, great unit. We use this in our 2022 buying guide. We've used this in builds. It's A-tier rated, but they're replacing these with the new ATX 3.0 power supplies. That's why the whole power supply market was kind of in a jumble earlier this year. It's gotten back to a more normal state, but there's an updated version of this one we'll check out. For the keyboard, the Logitech K270, it's fine. It's not a great keyboard. It's not a gaming keyboard. It's just kind of it's okay for $30. I'd get something with mechanical switches. Wired would probably be preferred here as well. For the mouse, the Logitech G305 is a good mouse, 2 thumbs up, $34. It's about what it costs, and honestly, pretty good gaming mouse. So for $1,181, I'm just not seeing the level of performance here. I hate the monitor. I hate the monitor. The GPU, I just feel like if we're gonna spend $300 on a souped up version of the 3060, why aren't we getting like a better GPU altogether? And of course, our motherboard absolutely has to go. I hate that MSI pulled a fast one on gamers there. So overall, I just see a lot of things that we could do a little differently. I call this the welcome to 1440p gaming, because we are going to go 1440p, throw out that 1080p, 60 hertz terrible monitor. We're going to go way faster on the GPU on this build. And check this out, $1,189. That's right, we only about $15 more than you were going to spend. And look at that, we even accommodated that $130 Windows license. Ouch, that thing hurts. How did we do that? Let's start off with the monitor, because we're going to make a good purchase decision here. This is US only, by the way, though. We're going to go with the ASRock Phantom PG27Q15R2A. Maybe that's part of the reason, ASRock, you're having such a hard time selling these monitors. That's a terrible monitor name. Maybe the Extreme 7A or something. I don't know. But this is a phenomenal 1440p, 165 hertz gaming monitor. Really reputable outlets have tested this. This was one of our top picks for the best budget 1440p gaming monitor out there. Yes, it's curved. Yes, it's VA. It's still very, very phenomenal. If this had anybody's name except ASRock on it, because they're just trying to break into the monitor space, if this was like an Acer monitor or something like that, this would be about $50 to $70 more than it is right now. So take advantage of this, get it for $185, and this is going to give you an insane level of performance. It's only $50 more than that crappy 1080p monitor. Speaking of level of performance, let's talk about 1440p gaming. If you're going to spend $300 on an RTX 3060, let's just spend $20 more and get a way better graphics card. That is the RX 6700 XT, 12 gigabyte. This thing is going to give you massive levels of performance. What kind of performance? Well, this is TechSpot's RTX 4060 review, so the data is pretty relevant. I'll leave it linked down in the video description. This is a 15 game average at 1440p. Look at that poor RTX 3060, all the way down at 56 FPS across a wide range of games, 15 games at high settings. But where's that 6700 XT? Look at that, 74 FPS. And this includes really hard to run titles in there as well. If you're going to play CSGO, you're going to get tons and tons of frames. Minecraft, you're going to get a lot more frames. If you want to do super high-end ray tracing on Minecraft, you can still go with that RTX 3060. Just play regular Minecraft, man. Just have a great time in Minecraft, and then have a great time in all those other games, including Starfield. This is going to give you way better performance than Starfield. This is a 1440p level of GPU performance, and it's $320. For the CPU, I like your platform choice. We're going to stay with the Ryzen 5600. It is fast enough for the 6700 XT, and your upgrade path on this is a 5800X3D, maybe a 5600 X3D if you live near a micro center in the future. $145. I really hope AMD kind of keeps a lid on the CPU price, because this is what's been powering kind of the middle to the budget end of gaming. I did notice that we didn't have an aftermarket cooler. You were using the Ray Stealth included cooler. That's fine. For 20 bucks, so let's bling up the system a little bit, and let's give it a little bit better noise profile. Let's give it a little bit better performance. Only $19 for something really nice like the Thermalright Assassin X 120 SE. There's tons of these coolers at about the anywhere from like $17 to $25 range. Remember, everything's linked down in the video description. For the motherboard, we're going to go with the ASRock B550M Pro 4. This was our top pick in terms of best price to performance motherboards for Ryzen 5000 in our 2023 Best Ryzen Motherboard video. Check that out if you want some alternatives to this. $101, has upgraded audio on it, has a bevy of rear panel features, and it actually has PCIe Gen 4 on it. Now look, do you need PCIe Gen 4? You don't. Could you use that other motherboard? You could. For 120 bucks, I just don't know why you would. For the RAM, we're going to stick with your choice, the G-Skill Ripjaws DDR4 3600 CL16. Fantastic kit. $43 right now. Again, insane value. And I love the Samsung 970 EVO Plus's new price of around $50. Again, there are some cheaper drives out there, but we're going to stay with this. For the case though, we're going to switch things up. We're going to go with a micro ATX case, because I know some people don't like the look of a micro ATX motherboard in a full-size ATX case. I like the Deepcool CC560. It's great. It's got it says it's got 4 pre-installed ARGB fans. However, I think it means 3 if I'm reading this, because there's 2 in the front and there's 1 in the rear. All you need, these are great fans. This is a really, really nice little case. $60, $60. We're going to get full performance out of this thing, and it comes with enough fans. We did compromise a little bit on the PSU. You had picked out an A-tier rated unit for about $100. I just felt like that was a little on the expensive side. We're going to go with the C-tier rated unit. If you want to find something more in the middle, you can. I went with the MSI Mag A650BN. This is designed to be a lower cost bronze level PSU. The bronze is not the important part. It's the tier rating on the PSU Cultist list. So we've come down to the C level. If you want to get an A level one, you're going to have to invest maybe about 30 or 40 bucks more. You certainly can, but I think this is pretty good. For the keyboard and mouse, we got rid of that crappy Logitech standard desktop keyboard. We're going to get you something for gaming. Now, Logitech does make really good gaming keyboards as well, but right now SteelSeries has a pretty good sale going on for their Apex 3. So I picked this one up. I'm actually using the 10 keyless version of this. It's a little bit more money, just chops off that numeric keypad. This is a really good value for $39. And then we stuck it out with your mouse, the Logitech G305. Perfectly adequate gaming mouse, but for a value of $1,189, we massively increased the performance of this on the gaming front. We actually got you a real gaming monitor. It's 165 hertz, 1440p, really good panel for just $185. We massively upped the GPU performance by jumping up to the RX 6700 XT. Much better aesthetics, I think, on the case. We got you a cooler for your CPU that's actually going to improve the noise and overall performance. We got you a motherboard with much better features, including PCIe Gen 4. So I hope you feel like your build is boosted. We've got Breeze Cool, and the reason I pulled this one out, I just want everyone to know, I know we've done a lot of gaming PCs lately, and we haven't really done any production, especially creator-focused PC. So I wanted to pull something out, and Breeze Cool's got a really, really good challenge for us. Breeze says, I'm a former GFX graphics designer looking to get back into it, as well as video production and some Blender work. My budget's $1,500. They haven't owned a desktop in years, even though they're an IT specialist. Oh my goodness, this will be a lot of fun. For gaming, they also want to do 1440p high FPS, Call of Duty, Starfield, and new releases. Keep their case because they're in love with it. Okay, you submit it in. If I have to change it out to get you better performance, just know that that's an option, and you can always decide to overrule me and have your own case. But let's see what you got. No, we did not understand the assignment here. We didn't understand the assignment when we put this PC list together, because what I'm looking at here for $1,565, first of all, you're already over budget at $1,565. $65 over budget. We have our work cut out for ourselves. But the PC that I'm looking at here, this is a pretty good gaming PC, although there's a couple things that I would completely red flag as even as gaming. This is not a production first PC though. Couple different reasons for that. Let's quickly go through the build. Let's start off where else the GPU. You went with the XFX Speedster Mark, RX 6950 XT. Hey, 16 gigs, 629 is pretty good value. 15% more performance in gaming than the RTX 4070. Kind of that nice middle stop before you get up to 7900 XT or the 4070 Ti. But I just will say I'm not sure I would go Radeon 6000 series for production work, because most of the improvements that AMD has been focused on in like Adobe Premiere Pro and some of these other creative suites have been focused on the 7000 series, the Radeon 7000 series cards. And just taking a very quick look, this is on their website. These are first-party numbers that they came out with. I'll leave a link to this down in the video description. I know some people have been asking, because I have been talking about that AMD's been upping their game. And they rolled out this post a couple months ago in terms of some of the improvements that they've seen. Now, we already know that if you're using DaVinci Resolve Studio for video editing, Radeon cards actually do better than GeForce, than RTX NVIDIA cards there. But in Adobe Premiere Pro, it's often been the other way. They're saying, though, that the 7900 XT is 21% faster than the 4070 Ti, which is its competitor, in Adobe Premiere Pro. That's kind of interesting. I know there were some bugs with some of the Radeon things where things would just turn off or you'd get a system crash. I know they've been working to clean that up. It's entirely possible they have been cleaned up. I looked around if anybody's tested these numbers. Nobody's verified these numbers other than AMD putting them out. So we could certainly go Radeon here. I would go Radeon 7000 series though, if we want to go that direction. Otherwise, I would probably go NVIDIA because of the history of better support there. Again, Radeon may be fine. Then we go into the CPU, the Ryzen 5 7600X. Look, it'll do just fine for amateur level stuff. For pro level stuff, I wouldn't have done this. Intel has a lot of really solid offerings here that actually trump AMD in terms of multi-threaded production workloads. And I probably would not lead with Ryzen here, though I think we do want to go faster Intel. We don't want to go an unlocked part. Maybe the 13700F is something we could look at, but I think the 7600X kind of a no-go here if production is our primary focus. For the cooler, you went with id Cooling FrostFlow X. This is a fine cooler. I've never tested it. I've tested their other coolers in this series. The pump's a little noisy, and I just think for a production environment, especially if you want to do any recording like I'm doing right here, you don't want a noisy pump, and they're hard to adjust because they actually just run 100% on SATA power, though you can, of course, plug them into the PWM as well, and you can turn the pump down. Given where we're going with a probably higher heat part, we're going to change this out. For the motherboard, we went with the Gigabyte B650 Gaming X. It's fine. It's a fine motherboard. I would like to see a slightly higher quality motherboard. I would like to see one, especially if we're going to use an analog headset for any of our video editing and playback. I'd love to see something with upgraded audio here, or if maybe you have an external DAC that you're going to use. If you're going to do that, that's absolutely fine. We'll just bypass the audio on this. It doesn't have a ton of rear panel connectivity to it. It's decent. I would just like to see us maybe kind of up our game here. For the RAM, I hate the RAM speed. I hate the RAM speed. I love these T-Force Delta kits, but we've got to get the right speed because they offer all kinds of different kits out there. 6000 CL38 is relatively slow, especially for Ryzen, but even looking at Intel, for like $7 more, this is like a $93 kit, but for like $7 more, we can get 6000 CL30, which is where I'd love to see us go. For the drive, I'm not a big fan of the Kingston NV2 for production workloads. This is a DRAM-less. Yes, it's PCIe Gen 4. I just think that we're more likely to be doing a lot of smaller writes and more sustained writes. So I would love to see something with a DRAM cache, even if it's PCIe Gen 3. There's a number of good drives out there that we can swap in instead. The other thing is 2 terabytes. It's a starting place, but I'd love to see 6, 8, quite a bit of storage on here. I'm not sure we have the budget for it. For the case, yeah, look, I get it. $139 though for this Thermaltake Series 500. It looks super nice. It looks super nice. I'm not going to deny that. If you want this case, maybe. I just think that we need to find a little bit more money in order to push that into the performance of our overall production PC, because you don't want to start getting into this and then feel like, I just can't do that. I can't do this. I just can't get into a good workflow with my PC. All the aesthetics in the world aren't going to solve that problem if that's how you feel. So we got to get that taken care of first. We'll try and get you some good looks. The problem with the power supply of the RM750X is it's effectively being phased out. That's why the price seems really silly at $120 right now when you can get the Corsair RM750E, which is the next generation of this unit that's ATX 3.0 compatible and has a PCIe Gen 5 connector, the 12-volt high power connector as well. So all told, for $1,565, I'm just not, again, we're $65 over budget, and I'm just not seeing the level of multi-threaded production that we need in order to have a really, really good experience and make you feel good about jumping back into the game. I call this the $1,500 insane creator PC because we're going to get insane levels of multi-threaded production work out of this PC. This PC is for work first and gaming second, but it's not going to be any slouching gaming. No slouching gaming whatsoever. I finished out at $1,497. That's right. Not only am I under your budget, but I found a way to cut $65 from where you were. You were at $1,565. So we've come down under your budget. Let's go through this because I'm going to give you a couple options at various turns, starting off with the graphics card. I went ahead and spec'd this out, including the price for the RTX 4070. You can pick the model you want. I picked a $549 one. The Gigabyte WindForce is a great, it's got a great cooler on it. We used this in our mini ITX build earlier this year for a friend of the channel who also does a lot of production work. That's why we were building it. Now, 12 gigs of VRAM, for some applications out there, may not be as much as you'd like. So the alternative to this is, of course, the Radeon RX 7800 XT. Right now, at the time of filming, completely sold out at the MSRP cards around $499. 16 gigs of VRAM though, similar levels of gaming performance. We'll go through that in just a second. You can, however, either back order some of the cheaper models, or I am seeing now stuff like the super high-end cards, like the Power Color Red Devil version, which is their highest end version of it, for $559 come back into stock. So it's basically the same price as the 4070, kind of one of the cheaper cards. Either way, these are both great cards for production level, depending on what you're doing. Let's talk about the performance in gaming. 7800 XT right now, you can see this is a 15 game average from TechSpot. 1440p. This is their RX 7800 XT review, so the data is very, very fresh. 4070, 102 average FPS. 7800 XT, 108 average FPS. Though I will say the 1% lows were much better on the 7800 XT, 89 there against only 81 on the 4070. The 4070, 12 gigs of VRAM. The 7800 XT, 16 gigs of VRAM. But you should double check in the applications that you're going to be using. Just come up to date on that and figure out, is AMD better or is NVIDIA better, or are they roughly equal? Looking at Blender, one of the applications that you cited, in fact, Blender 3.6 just came out, and this article just came out by Puget Systems, who creates Puget Bench, which is the benchmarking tool for a lot of these creator suites. And in Blender, they found that the new Blender version actually vastly improves the performance of AMD Radeon 7000 series cards like the 7800 XT. It's up to 31% faster, depending on what you're doing. Articles linked down in the video description so you can check them out. But the CPU, we're going for the i5 13600K. And yes, we're going with the K versus the KF here. We're actually paying about a $25 price premium because the K has the integrated GPU, and in like Adobe Premiere Pro, as you're exporting video only, this isn't gaming or anything else, it'll take turns with your dedicated GPU in terms of speeding up your overall video export process. But this is a hugely performative 6 performance cores, and it's got 8 E-cores as well. So tons and tons of multi-threaded performance production. And in terms of gaming, it's roughly equivalent to the 7600 in terms of overall gaming performance. For the cooler, we're going something super simple here. We're going to go with Thermalright Peerless Assassin SE120. The all-white version is only $37 right now. This is an insanely performative cooler. I know you wanted that all-in-one liquid cooler. Certainly could go that direction. I just think this is going to be quieter and give you better performance. Now for the motherboard, I actually found a super good deal on a motherboard. This is the ASRock Z690 PG Velocita. So this has upgraded audio. It's got upgraded other features. It's got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on it. It's just basically a really, really phenomenal motherboard for only $157. And remember, this is a DDR5 motherboard. Intel can use DDR4 or DDR5. I went with the DDR5 motherboard and DDR5 RAM. Spoiler alert, we'll go through that in just a second. If you can't find this board for whatever reason, it's been on sale for a couple weeks now, although it keeps saying the sale ends in 12 hours. It doesn't really end in 12 hours. It just kind of comes back. But if for some reason you can't get it, other similar boards with this feature set are more like $220, so you might have to make some other price adjustments. We'll go through those. The key thing if you're going to get a Z690 motherboard is you need BIOS flashback. with a 13th gen CPU. It's possible you'll get a Z690 that already comes with a BIOS for 13th gen. I would just get BIOS flashback just to be careful and be sure on that, and this has BIOS flashback. For the RAM, we went with DDR5 6000 CL30, our good old-fashioned T-Force Delta kit, $99. $99. It is stupidly cheap for super fast RAM. You can even go faster. You could go 7200 CL34, but if you do, I would go Z790 because they have better memory traces on a lot of those motherboards, though it does vary by board. For what you're doing, I don't think we need to push massive amounts of speed. I think this would be good. I also love that this is 32 gigs. You could look at 64 here, but if you do, Intel has had challenges running 4 sticks. So I would jump up to 2x32 gigabyte sticks instead of the 2x16 gigabyte. For the drive, listen, I was not able to get you more than a single 2 terabyte drive of higher performance. Got you the 970 Evo Plus, 2 terabyte. It's got DRAM on it. I think this is going to be vastly more performative drive for the type of tasks that you're going to be doing in video editing and other creative workloads. I went ahead and found a way to keep your super expensive case, $139. I do just want to emphasize though, for like $90, you can get the Antec Flux DF700, comes with 3 ARGB fans, 1 non-RGB fan in the back. Great airflow case. You can get like the Lee & Lee LandCool 216. There's a lot of other options. And if you do have to spend more money on your motherboard or something like this, this is the first area that I would cut. And I'd cut back to one of those other insanely good cases for a lot cheaper. For the power supply, I did just go ahead and update the Corsair RM750E over the 750X. 750X is being discontinued. This is only $99 for 750 watts, which is honestly, it's all the power we're gonna need. The good news is $1,500, $1,497. We got you an insanely more performative multi-threaded CPU in the i5 13600K. You could wait for the 14600K if you want. An impressive cooler. We got you a full featured fantastic motherboard. We got you a choice between 2 really good GPUs in either the 7800 XT or the 4070, depending on how you find your applications require. And we fixed your RAM and your SSD. So I hope you feel like your build is boosted. Remember, if you got value out of this video, give it a like. This makes a huge difference to the channel. And of course, subscribe. Click that bell icon. That way you get notified when we release cool content. Hey, speaking of cool content, did you check out our Q&A series? We talked all about the huge NVIDIA price cuts, in fact, that went into one of these builds right here. Check it out right here. Will AMD take market share? Will NVIDIA keep cutting prices? And we'll catch you on the next one.